What a game we just watched. Canada 2, U.S. men's national team 1. I'm going to give you all my instant match reactions, go over some winners and losers and takeaways from both sides. Guys, we have a lot of Canadian and U.S. fans here on the channel. I want to hear from all of you down below in the comments. What was your biggest lesson learned from this game? If you like videos about CONCACAF, make sure you hit subscribe because we have an entire playlist on the channel covering the region. We're going to be making more videos about the other friendlies coming up, Mexico versus Canada, US versus New Zealand, so watch out for those. And if you guys could give the video a like, that would be much appreciated. Now, let's get into winners and losers really quick. I'm going to start with winners, and I'm going to try to start with the U.S. men's national team because I think there are a few winners, not many, but I think maybe the biggest ones are named Weston McKennie, Gio Reyna, and Tyler Adams, because let me tell you right now, the U.S. midfield today was a disaster. It was a tragic Greek play, something that should be only played outside of the Acropolis, not something that should have been played during I think it was the fan appreciation night for the U.S. fan base, which is hilarious because there was like 1,000 people there. But yeah, anyways, I think the typical, go-to starting A-team midfielder trio for the U.S. men's national team, I think they were winners today because I don't think anybody was watching what just happened with Canada and is saying, you know what, could Aronson take a starting spot? I think that conversation is dead if it wasn't dead already. Patrick Schulte, I think, is genuinely a winner here. I know people were kind of critical of his Olympic performance. A lot of people were saying that, it might be a little too soon for him. I think it was a bit surprising, honestly, that he got the start over Matt Turner, but I got to say, my guy did all right. He did all right. I think he's doing quite well in the MLS, but for the U.S. men's national team, at least the senior team, haven't really seen him. We saw him against Canada. He had plenty to do, and let me tell you, Patrick Schulte is probably the biggest reason this was not a calamity. And I'm talking like how Japan just beat China 7-0. I'm talking like a Canada 5, US 1 type victory today. Okay, so shout out to Patrick Schulte. He actually put in a shift. And maybe minor W, Aiden Morris and Luca De La Torre just for the combination of the goal. I think we got to give them that, okay? Because there's not a lot of other W's here for the U.S. men's national team. I mean, it certainly wasn't Pulisic, who was a ghost pretty much the entire game. Now, winners from the Canadian side, without a doubt, biggest winner, I think biggest winner, period, of the game, Jesse Marsch. Jesse Marsch. I said this in our preview, which, by the way, if you don't want to miss the next preview, make sure you subscribe now so you know what I'm referencing when I say stuff like this. He needed the win. I think the Copa America was a very good performance from Jesse Marsch, but you look at it, I think my man had like 1 win in 7 games, and that's like removing all context. You still needed to add some more dubs to the resume, and I think you needed to validate the Copa America performance. If he came out here and lost to a basically coachless U.S. men's national team with some of the omissions that the U.S. had, if the U.S. won the game 2-1 or 3-1 or 1-0, I think you look at Marsch and you're like, oh gosh, was the Copa America a fairy tale? But he took that narrative, put it into a wad of paper, shouted Kobe, and shot it into the trash can because now he just looks like he's really doing something with this Canadian side. I mean, they look quite scary. So massive, massive W for Jesse Marsch. First Canadian victory on U.S. soil in, 50 years? I think the 3rd ever in the history of the rivalry. Insane, man. How you not going to say Jesse Marsch, massive dub? Also massive dub, pretty much the entire Canadian 11. Jonathan David, goal and an assist. I thought it was especially big for him because he's kind of got this reputation for not scoring against good teams. Well, now he scored and assisted against the U.S. in the U.S. backyard. What are they going to say now? Eustachio and my boy from Grasshopper, forgive me, I cannot pronounce his name for the life of me. They should not have been that good today, and they were. I feel like Ismail Kone being out was it was literally the reason I did not predict a Canadian victory, was Ismail Kone, because I think he's so important to Canada. And it didn't matter. They completely dominated. So shout out to those guys. I have to say this, man. Moise Bombito, absolute class today. I mean, Cornelius was very good as well, but Bombito especially probably had 2, if not goal-saving, then shot-saving tackles. I mean, arguably, he could have been up there in man of the match. I'm not even kidding. He was unbelievable today. Like, the ascension of this man, it's crazy how much better and I guess maybe how much more recognition that he's gotten in the last 12 months. I feel like the dude blew up out of nowhere, and I can confidently say it's not hype. He is legit. Like, this guy is the truth. So those are my winners. We can move on to the losers now. It would probably be the entire U.S. midfield with a special nomination for Johnny Cardoso, who, Jesus Christ, he was terrible today. I mean, just awful. But I don't think it's fair if you solo out Johnny, because I think Musa did basically nothing. I mean, the guy's just standing there. I'll get into tactics in a second here. And Brendan Aronson gets dispossessed anytime he's challenged. Like, the guy just cannot hold on to the ball. So as a trio, absolutely diabolical. Here's a question for you. This isn't really a statement from me, but I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. U.S. soccer. Is U.S. soccer a loser today? And hear me out. I'm kind of thinking you had the opportunity to get Jesse Marsch. He's gone to Canada and has blown up. I mean, it's incredible. He's turned into a butterfly over there, okay? Canada went from, are they completely finished, and was the 2022 World Cup cycle a fluke, to like, holy hell, could they win the next Nations League and actually be the best team in the region? And so I wonder if U.S. soccer is a loser here, because they had the opportunity to get him, and they didn't. They passed on him. Maybe we can't answer this now. I'm just planting the seed now, okay? That's what I like to do here on Deadball TV. Losers for Canada. I think there's only one loser for Canada, and maybe this is harsh, because I think he did a lot of things well, but it's Kyle Larin. And Kyle Larin has continued his Copa America form and has basically become allergic to scoring goals for this national team. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's got a prolific goal-scoring record with Canada, but for whatever reason, since Jesse Marsch took the helm, he just has not been able to put it in the back of the net. And I think Schulte had some great saves today, but there was a couple other ones that Larin has no excuse to not score. He should have had at least two. He's missing shots. There was a perfect header that came in. I think it was from Ali Ahmed. I should have shouted him out earlier. Baller today. And he just missed the header completely. So, yeah, loser for Canada, if there is one, Kyle Larin. Now we'll get into the match itself. If I forgot any winners or losers specifically, if you feel like I let somebody off the hook, drop that in the comments. I'm going to start from the U.S. The beginning of the game, virtually until the end of the game, was awful. Like, it really didn't get any better. I think it picked up at the start of the second half, and I think it was moderately better for about 5 minutes after the goal. Outside of that, the team sucked ass. And I think they sucked ass because the midfield today was, I'm going to say, largely responsible for the defeat. I actually felt like Balogun as an individual, I think he was making the right runs. I think he made a couple dangerous opportunities, but it wasn't the volume that he needed. Pulisic was ass cheeks today. And who even started at right wing? I honestly don't even know who was out there, which is crazy. Anyways, keeping it to the analysis here, what the U.S. tried to do was play out from the back, okay? That's what they tried to do time and time again. And it was apparent 5 minutes in that it was a disastrous strategy, and that was probably because of the personnel on the field. I mean, Patrick Schulte, Tim Ream, Lunn, whoever it was, they were taking genuinely 3 to 8 seconds to make a pass over and over again. And I mean, I felt like I was watching an instant replay, the way that Schulte would pass it short to Ream. Ream would look up, see that nobody was open, nobody was moving, everybody's completely stagnant. He'd play it to Lunn, who would try to play it first time into Cardoso, who would lose the ball, or he'd try to play it up the wing to Pulisic, who would get bodied. And occasionally he passed it to Brendan Aronson, who would get bodied. And it just happened over and over and over again. I was kind of stunned that especially Tim Ream wasn't trying his long ball more than what we're used to seeing. I felt like at some point, bruh, this ain't working. You got to do something else. U.S. kind of tried something else in the start of the second half, but like I said, they kind of reverted back to the mean. I think they made it way too easy on Canada. Way too easy on Canada. I mean, I genuinely thought that I was back in the NBA bubble watching the Eric Spoelstra Miami Heat in a 1-3-1 zone, because that is how Canada defended. I mean, it was Jonathan David, Kyle Larin, and Schaffelberg up top, standing still, marking every U.S. midfielder. I mean, it was embarrassingly easy from Canada. Like, yes, I think Jesse Marsch had a great approach to the game, but Jesus Christ, what was the game plan going in for the U.S.? It was clearly trash. Another question. I wonder how the Berhalter out crowd is feeling right now. Okay, let's not get hyperbolic. Canada is a very good team right now. They're in better form than the U.S. It was a friendly. But I wonder if this result has anybody questioning anything. I'm just saying, I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying Berhalter out was wrong. Do not try to put words in my mouth. I'm just wondering after this performance, because I saw a lot of the usual culprits on Twitter. And all of a sudden the narrative has changed a little bit. I didn't see Berhalter out anymore. I saw, oh, these players aren't good, which is very interesting because we haven't heard that too much. We haven't heard that too often. Last thing tactically I want to say is I feel like this kind of Lund, Scally, fullback combo with this midfield is complete deadwood. Like, there's not going to be any attacking threat from these guys whatsoever. It was Malik Tillman. That was the guy who was the winger. I thought he had a couple good runs, but was largely a ghost as well. Really not a good showing. And here's the main thing. If this was supposed to be an audition for Pochettino, none of y'all are getting the role. They're going to give it to Michael B. Jordan. Nobody's getting the role. It was pathetic. It was genuinely that bad. The effort level was very concerning. Very, very concerning. I get it. It's a friendly. I get it. The real coach isn't even here yet. I understand that. You're playing your second arch rival, bro. Like, you gotta try a little harder. Because I tell you what, Canada wanted it. You saw those players sprinting their ass off. Tell me Ali Ahmed and Schaffelberg didn't want it today. Tell me Eustachio sliding all over the place. Tell me he didn't want it. Tell me Alistair Johnson only played 20 minutes, but had, Pulisic in his pocket. Tell me he didn't want it. Like, it was disturbingly arrogant from the U.S. It was disturbingly arrogant from the entire team. Coming off of a disastrous Copa America campaign to still be acting like that is shameful. It really is. If the U.S. went out there today and really tried to ball out and they just lost, they just lost because Canada's a good side, I probably just deleted 7 minutes of footage from this video because I'd be saying, hey, U.S. did well, but Canada's just good right now. But instead, I'm having to rip these players individually in the mentality. And I guess I'll rip Mickey as well, as the interim manager. Like, these guys weren't prepared. They were not prepared. Last thing I'll say about the U.S., these players are completely out of excuses. Like, if you're a U.S. fan watching this video, what is your excuse? What is your excuse? Because it was eternally Greg Berhalter. These guys have no more health potions, as I love to say on the channel. If you continue to be poor, you cannot blame Berhalter anymore. At some point, it's you. And that's why I'm fascinated with what I saw on Twitter today, because there was a lot of criticism of the players. And I feel like the rebuttal to me will be, oh, well, we're missing the entire midfield. Fair. Totally fair. Serginho Dest also out. Jedi's a massive miss for this team. But maybe you're looking at the depth and you're at least like, are these guys as good as we thought? I don't know. Didn't really seem like it. Like, the players just got to ball out. I don't want to hear any more Berhalter legacy. I don't want to hear that the sun was too bright. I don't want to hear that the Canadians are mean. I don't want to hear that the attendance was low. Stop. Stop with the excuses. It's time to perform. Beat New Zealand or God help you. Now, for the Canadians, I just felt like the intensity was great. I thought the game plan from Jesse Marsch was also pretty flawless, even though the U.S. did make it easy on Canada. Just the pressing was great. The build-up, the speed of play that Canada have currently is very dangerous. This is why even going up against better teams, they always have that kind of KO ability because of their pace of play and because of their, I'm going to say skill positions. That's really an NFL term, but because of their skill positions, like they can really hurt you. And under Jesse Marsch, it is so obvious this team is bought in. It is so obvious. Like, they're going to die for this guy already. I mean, I think this is his 8th game, I think. Crazy the transformation that we're seeing from them. Closing thoughts here. I think the 2-1 scoreline is quite flattering for the U.S. This could have easily been a 4-1 or 4-0, something like that. Shout out to Patrick Schulte again. Deserved win for Canada, 100%. And I also said this during the preview. If they're going to make the claim they're the best team in CONCACAF, they had to win this game, given the circumstances, and they did. And they didn't fluke it. Like, they cooked. They absolutely chefed today. They made some protein pancakes with, I don't know, sugar-free maple syrup. Maybe that's worse than regular maple syrup. I don't know. The point is, they were doing something special. Now, I don't think you can say they're the best team in CONCACAF yet. I'm going to maintain my position. They need a Nations League or a Gold Cup with the A team. Or at the very least, you have to beat the United States, in a competitive match, whether that's a Nations League semifinal, Gold Cup semifinal, Gold Cup final. I don't care. World Cup round of 16, Jesus, can you imagine? I don't care what it is. But for me, a competitive win or a trophy, it's done. It's done. Canada might actually be better. Now, Pochettino's about to come in. He's going to have something to say about that. And to end it on a positive note for the U.S., this might be the best thing that could have happened to the Yanks. I think Connor said that during the preview. A loss here? I mean, how many more CONCACAF teams are you going to lose to? You've lost to everybody but Mexico, bro. Literally. Costa Rica beating you, Panama beating you, Canada's beating you. Who else you need to lose to? Suriname? Before you wake up. I think this is going to be a wake up to the players because it has to be. If it's not, then these guys might be just mad overrated. But Pochettino is going to look at this. He's going to use this. He's going to use this to try to galvanize the players. And I think it's better for Pochettino to know, you know what, there is a lot of work to be done here. This is not a cakewalk job. We're going to be dropping a video on the channel soon about the position itself, the expectations for Pochettino, how difficult it is for him to achieve them. This is not an easy job. Not with the World Cup coming up. So he's going to know that there's a lot of room for improvement, which is a good thing. You want him to know that. The players should now know, if we do not take this seriously, we're going to get leapfrogged by Canada as the best team in the region, and they might have the best showing at the World Cup. So you can only hope this is a catalyst for change. Okay? That's the best case for the U.S. men's national team. I'm sure they'll find solace in the fact that this was still a friendly. A lot of big names were out. Canada have a manager. They have a style. They have a culture, again, that everybody's bought into, one that's very fresh. They probably haven't been this hyped since, peak Herdman. So I think U.S. fans will find solace in that, but this was so impressive from Canada. And that Mexico-Canada game, if Mexico don't beat New Zealand decisively tonight, holy hell. That one, it could be a 2-0. It could be a 2-0 or a 3-1. I don't know, man. Watch out for the Canadians. They're officially here. I think they're officially here. You guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash the like button. Again, hit subscribe for more CONCACAF content here on Deadball TV. I will be going live for the Canada-Mexico game, so you can check that out on the channel. Also, be sure to check out our social media links in the description of this video in case we do something for the U.S.-New Zealand game and whatever else we decide to drop here on the channel. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.